You mentioned Mayweather. We're not trying to go back to that era, man. Nobody enjoyed that era. That was, not a very exciting era for boxing.
But I mean,
you could say that it set
it
people
is what
back.
it is, man. And he made the most money out of any athlete, probably, bro. So I mean, why not this young dude from Mexico come in, use kind of that blueprint of Mayweather, and look at, man, he's fighting Jacobs, bro.
But nobody wants to see the blueprint of Mayweather. That's the point. We want to see a knockout artist.
And did he knock out that so-called whoever it was? Oh, Fielding. Canelo. Didn't he knock out Fielding?
In 3 rounds, but
exactly. So
as I mentioned last week, who's the last elite fighter that Canelo knocked out?
That's
exactly,
a really question,
exactly, guys.
But bro,
where's that cricket from our studio?
No way. No way. But I mean, dude, he definitely beat Triple G. We can go into an hour into that episode.
Oh, we're gonna get to that one. Trust me.
Hi guys, welcome to HOB TV. This is episode 13. We are taking HOB TV on the road this week. We're here at 60th Street Barbershop, round 2. We're here with Marcos Gonzalez here, the owner of 60th Street Barbershop. They're huge supporters of HOB TV since the very beginning. He's the official barber of House of Boxing Boxers, members. So yeah, man, so we're gonna go into getting a little background of 60th Street Barbershop and how you got involved. Marcos, go ahead and explain that to us for a little bit.
So my name is Marco Gonzalez, and first of all, it's an honor to be hosting the HOB TV on the road.
Yep.
First up here.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks you so much for that.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, sir. Steve, David, thank you for coming. And I've been cutting hair for about 18 years.
Wow.
And I've been knowing you since you were
Little kid,
yeah. I don't know, elementary, middle school.
Yeah,
right? And your whole family, of course.
Yeah.
Yes. It's been a pleasure. And so we got 2 locations, one on 16th Street, and this is on Highland.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided to call this round 2 because we're big fanatics of boxing, as you can see. So we call it round 2, 16th Street Barbershop.
Heck yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Now, Marco, you're one of the hugest boxing aficionados that I know.
Yeah.
And actually, before we do HOB TV on Thursdays, I come and see my boy Marco, to get the nice hookup.
Yep.
And as you can see right here, and we'll actually talk boxing, so it gives me a little bit of a practice before we do HOB TV in the evening. But Marco, the topic for episode 13, the top 5 fights of the spring and summer, 5 through 1. What is your number 1 fight of spring through summer? Which fight do you want to see the most from spring and summer coming up?
For me, number 1 fight is, of course, Canelo Jacobs.
Okay.
And why is that? Out of all the fights, why would you say?
Because, first of all, because I'm going to be out there.
Yeah.
I'll be out there in Vegas.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, of course, Cinco de Mayo,
Heck yeah.
Great day to be out there celebrating Cinco de Mayo, and of course, Mexican boxing, and it's going to be a great, exciting fight.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Canelo Jacobs, you don't get better than that, man.
That's true.
And that's number 1 for me. It is. And
I have a good feeling David and I have that on our list coming up.
Right.
But Marco, once again, thank you, man. Thank you for hosting us. And thank you for everything you do for House of Boxing, HOB TV. Appreciate it.
So if you guys are looking for a barbershop, make sure you guys swing on by here at 6th Street Barbershop round 2 here on Highland Avenue, the best barbershop in San Diego. Make sure you guys come check them out. Thank you, Marcos.
All right, guys. So as Dave and I said, welcome to HOB TV episode 13. We'll be breaking down the top 5 fights of spring and summer. Now, on the week when we're celebrating the 35th anniversary of Hagler versus Hearns and those 3 best rounds in boxing history, we're going to be celebrating the top fights spring and summer, as we said. David and I were going to break them down. Now, back to Hagler-Hearns. Hagler was quoted as saying about that fight, "I never wanted to kill another man, but anything could have happened." And that leads me to my number 5 fight. I got Stevenson versus Christopher Pitufo Diaz. Now, this fight right here, Dave, Diaz is channeling his inner Marvin Hagler by saying that he is going to kill his opponent, Stevenson, this Saturday night at MSG, Madison Square Garden. He's promising a war against the undefeated fighter. Now, on paper, Christopher El Pitufo, the Smurf Diaz, would seem to hold some significant advantages, the most striking being experience in rounds fought. Diaz outnumbers Stevenson 116-40 in rounds fought, and Diaz also has the legendary Freddie Roach in his corner. But David, believe it or not, some sites have the 2016 Olympic silver medalist Shakur as high as a 16-1 favorite this Saturday. Shakur Stevenson, 16-1 favorite on some sites. I see it more evenly than that, but props to Top Rank and matchmaker Brad Goodman for putting this fight together. I know they had the reservations about putting this one together, and it took a lot of risk because a lot of promotions aren't willing to put two of their best young fighters together.
Yeah.
David, I'm actually looking more forward to this fight, Stevenson versus Diaz, than the main event on the card, which is Terrence Crawford versus Amir Khan, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Because I feel that this fight is more evenly matched than that one.
Yeah, and I mean, for my top five, my number 5 would be actually Crawford Khan. Now, I think it's a pretty meaningful fight for Crawford. It's, it goes to show what he can do at 147. Not sure it's the best evenly match, but he always puts on a good show, man. And he definitely likes to finish the fight, and he puts on a great show. So, I have that number 5. You probably got me right there with that fight right there. I totally missed that fight.
It's gonna be a hell of a fight.
It is going to be a hell of a fight, man. Two young fighters, like you said. It is going to be pretty interesting. With Shakur Stevenson having a lot of outside issues, with that whole street brawl that he got into.
That was swept under the rug, bro, because
it is.
Nobody from Top Rank really addressed it.
Yeah.
And nobody really said anything about it. And that was a serious altercation. Females were hit,
Yep.
Unfortunately. But so we're going to see if that mindset of what happened back then affects this fight.
Exactly.
Right? I don't think it will. But guys, as I said, Shakur Stevenson, 12-1, 16-1 favorite. We don't condone betting on HOB TV, but
if you were a betting man,
those are some some damn good odds.
Right.
But okay, guys, it leads me to my number 4 fight on this list: PACQUIAO versus Thurman. We're gonna put an asterisk next to this, okay? Because it's tentatively scheduled for July 13th. As negotiations are still pending for this one. It would mark the return of the legend as he is slated to fight his toughest challenger, I believe, in 4 years since Pacquiao fought Mayweather. He's going to be taking on the undefeated Keith one-time Thurman. This is an intriguing matchup of old school versus new school, as 40-year-old Pacquiao will be meeting the 30-year-old challenger in his prime. Now, if Pacquiao wasn't going to face Errol Spence or Terrence Crawford, Thurman, for me, was the next best option. And, I'm really looking forward to this one, Dave. We talked about Canelo last week, possibly being fighter of the year. But don't count out Pacquiao, man. Pacquiao beat Broner. If he beats Thurman, and let's just say if he fights Mikey Garcia towards the end of the year and beats him, we got another candidate for fighter of the year at 40 years old, man. Pacquiao.
Exactly. And I have the same exact thing at number 4. I got Pacquiao Thurman. It's definitely going to be punches flying during that fight. It's a very interesting fight. Thurman coming off a win with Josecito where he didn't look as good. He definitely has conditioning issues when he gets tired. When he gets tired at the end of the round, I think Pacquiao can take advantage of that, being very offensive and possibly taking a split decision, a majority decision. It'll be that type of fight, man. But it's definitely an interesting fight.
Definitely. So it takes us to our number 3 fight now. My number 3 fight on my list is the first of 2 rematches that I have in my top 5. Miguel Berchel versus Francisco Vargas II for the junior lightweight title. This is a rematch of their 2017 fight, which Berchel won by TKO in round 11. The first fight was a bloody battle, and I expect the same in this fight with the same results, with Berchel winning. Berchel has fought 4 times since his last bout versus Vargas, including wins over Takashi Miura and Miguel Roman, 2 quality wins. And now, out of his last 14 fights, only one of Miguel Berchel's fights has gone the distance. In contrast, Vargas is coming off a 1-year layoff and returns with veteran Joel Diaz in his corner. Vargas is once again promising a war, stating that Mexicans never back down, and I will show that once again in the ring. That is why this fight is number 3 on my list. You can't go wrong ever with 2 Mexicans fighting in the main event.
Exactly. My number 3, I have Gallito Estrada versus RUNGVISAI. Definitely another exciting fight. 2 guys that are especially RUNGVISAI being a big puncher, Gallito Estrada with the technique. So there's definitely a lot for Gallito Estrada to prove here, man. He didn't look as good in that first fight. He kind of got tired, wasn't as offensive as he should have been. Now we'll see what he brings the second fight. The first one was an exciting one. Let's see what happens the second one. We already know RUNGVISAI has that power. Now let's see what adjustments that Gallito Estrada can bring and put on a good show and get that W, man. But yeah, I have RUNGVISAI Estrada, my number 3.
Who are you predicting? Who's going to win that fight?
I have Gallito Estrada, man. I have Gallito Estrada being the most.
Would be an upset.
It will be an upset, man. I think he understands what he needs to do. He definitely. I seen that picture where he looks kind of swole. Mm-hmm. He looks like he put on some weight to try to be thicker, to hopefully be powerful, more stronger, so he can try to match RUNGVISAI's power. But yeah, man, I feel like he knows what he needs to do. He's a smart fighter. He's an athletic fighter where he can change his style a little bit and pull out the W, man.
Gallito Estrada, for me, right now, he's kind of an anomaly. He's a big question mark. And that is because going into the first fight, he was heading towards pound-for-pound ranking.
He was, yeah.
And, he lost a fight. He didn't look great. He came on late.
He was kind of slow, yeah.
But, see, for me, I want to know, the question for me is Gallito Estrada pound-for-pound? Top 10 or top 15, or is he a Fernando Montiel type or Jorge Arce type, who could beat the fellow Mexicans, countrymen, but every time they took a step up and fought the elite, they lost.
That's true.
Jorge Arce, got killed against Victor Archinian, Fernando Montiel against Nonito Donaire. They could never take that next step up and be elite. So I want to see if Gallito could take that next step up in this fight.
Yeah, it's definitely a good fight. And I mean, going back to Berchel Vargas, I have that at number 2. So since we're on the topic of Berchel Vargas, that was your number 3 fight. That's my number 2, man. I really feel like it's going to be an exciting fight, man. The first one is exciting. It's going to be an action-packed fight. Now, we'll see what Vargas brings, man. I mean, this poor guy is always getting tough fights after tough fight after tough fight.
And he only has 1 loss. But
crazy,
think that you would think that he has 5 losses. Well, all these wars he's been, it's crazy.
Exactly.
He only has 1 loss.
Exactly. Yeah. But Berchel is definitely a talented fighter. He's a huge.
He was in our top 5 Mexican fighter list.
Exactly. He's a big dude, man. It's going to be an action-packed fight, man. Berchel, Vargas, 2 Mexicans. It's going to be an exciting fight. And I mean, I hope Vargas can show some different stuff. Maybe some conditioning where he can go to 12, and maybe some head movement, man, because that eye is an issue and cuts are an issue. So we'll see how it plays out, but that is definitely going to be an exciting fight.
No, don't get me wrong. I think Joel Diaz is a hell of a trainer. He's one of my favorite trainers.
Yeah.
He did great stuff with Bradley, man. Great stuff. Mm-hmm. But I don't think he's going to be able to do much with Francisco Vargas because he is who he is. He's a blood and guts warrior. Exactly. You can't tame him and make him this boxer all of a sudden, He is who he is, a blood and guts guy. I think he's going to revert to the old Francisco Vargas, and the same thing's going to happen, have Berchel winning this fight.
Yeah.
So my number 2 fight is Canelo versus Jacobs. Now, the Avengers comes out this weekend. Mm-hmm. Avengers, guys. And so, like Thanos on a violent search to pick up all the Infinity Stones, Canelo Alvarez is on a similar quest to secure all the belts in the middleweight division. Canelo will look to pick up a 3rd belt, the IBF title in the middleweight division. Should he become successful, he would need only the WBO title, which Andrade holds, to become boxing's undisputed middleweight champion should he defeat Jacobs. Now, Bovada has Canelo as a nearly 4.5 to 1 favorite. David, are those odds too high or are they justified?
I think they're justified, man. I mean, Canelo is the champion here.
Five to 1, man. I mean, that's high.
That is a little high, but hey, this guy's the champion.
I would take that. I would take that. But.
Yeah, but I really think it's a pretty even bet there. I mean, that's pretty fair. Canelo did beat Triple G, however you want to call it, and Jacobs lost. He didn't come off a very good performance his last fight, and Canelo just seems to keep getting better as he's in his prime right now, man. And that actually brings me to my number one fight. My number one fight is Canelo versus Jacobs. I think it's a very meaningful fight. They're fighting for most of the belts. They're only missing one belt. So for Canelo, this is definitely a fight that can show his legacy, propel him to that superstardom of being a superstar in Mexico and all over the world, man. I mean, and especially if it's a convincing fight where he's able to get a knockout. I definitely feel like this is the number one fight. It's going to be the two styles make it a good fight as well, man. Mm-hmm. Jacobs being that boxer puncher, Canelo being the counter puncher, working the body. Like they said, man, styles makes fights, and I feel like this is one of those fights that'll be an exciting one. And let me guess who your number one. Triple G versus...
No, that's not it. But I scaled down my Canelo Jacobs description.
Yeah.
Because man, we're doing 3 specials on it, bro. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
And if you guys haven't checked out our last week five big storylines, you guys need to check that out.
Exactly.
We went in detail about it, and guess what? Our part 2 is gonna be even greater, guys. I'm telling you right now. I'm not lying to you guys. Part 2 of Canelo versus Jacobs.
Exactly.
Man, that's going to be on point. So stay tuned for that one. But my number one fight out of the top 5 spring-summer fights to look for is Gallito Estrada versus SOR RUNGVISAI. Now, this is the number 1 fight on my list, as I mentioned. The WBC title is once again at stake in this one. Now, Estrada has won his last 2 fights, but SOR RUNGVISAI, a consensus top 10 pound-for-pound fighter, is riding the wave of an impressive 20-fight win streak. He's won 20 in a row, SOR RUNGVISAI. Now, I chose this as my number 1 fight because I expect a different fight from Gallito Estrada. I expect a continuation from the 12th round of their first fight, a round which saw Gallo take chances as the aggressor, all in all. I expect Gallo to be the anti-Mikey Garcia in this fight. I expect him to take chances and lay it all on the line. Now, reports out of Mexico are that Gallito Estrada is in the best shape of his life. As David mentioned, he's packed on some extra muscle. So there's no excuses for him. It's all or nothing. And David, I guess you could say that I expect a battle, man.
Yeah.
So Gallito Estrada, SOR RUNGVISAI, the battle hat's for you. It's on. This battle hat didn't do me well in my Spence and Mikey Garcia prediction. But as I said, I expect Gallo to be the anti-Mikey Garcia in this fight, take chances, take risks, and I'm expecting a hell of a fight next week.
Heck yeah! I mean, I have it at number 3. I mean, it could have definitely been number 2, possibly even 1 like you had it. It's going to be an exciting fight, man. SOR RUNGVISAI always brings it. His fights with Chocolatito, his 2 fights, they were very exciting. The first Estrada fight was exciting. It's going to be a great fight, man. And that whole DAZN card is pretty good, man. It's stacked, bro.
Well, I'm going to be there.
Daniel Roman
such
on
a great
it.
card.
Heck yeah. Jesse Vargas inside the
Alberto
forum.
Soto, Jesse
Heck
Vargas.
yeah, man. It's definitely a stacked card. And the main event is
I'm going to be there
an exciting one.
I'll be there at noon, guys. So if I see you there, I'll have one of these with you. But David, so let's move on. We spoke about future fights, right?
Yeah.
Well, Bovada, the betting site, has released odds for a Canelo versus Triple G3 fight already.
Wow.
And the line, believe it or not, guys, the line for Triple G Canelo 3, Bovada has it as even. Wow. Minus 115 for each guy. So, odd makers had Triple G as a 2-1 favorite the last 2 fights. This time the line is even. David, what do you think of those early odds?
I think it's pretty fair, man. I mean, Canelo won the last fight. He is the champion. it is going to be a close fight like that, man. But like I mentioned earlier, Canelo's only getting better. He's in his prime right now, and Triple G's getting older. So it definitely makes it that even fight. So, I mean, it'll be a good one, man. It'll definitely sell out. I hope it happens by the end of the year.
You know, I was expecting Canelo to come in as a 2-1 favorite for this fight. So I'm a little surprised that it's even. Yeah, and, you know, Triple G just turned 37 this year. The first half of the last fight, he showed signs of slowing down, but then he got a second win, you know, the second half of the fight. But it's real interesting. We'll see how those odds shift when we get to that third fight, right? Now, speaking of Triple G, he has a fight. He signed a fight for June 8th. He returns at Madison Square Garden against little-known Steve Rolls. And now, this fight did not make our list, guys. Obviously, it's a comeback fight for Triple G.
Yeah.
But, David, what are you looking for in this fight? We got Andrade on the card versus Selecki, which is going to be a really, you know, decent fight, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't count Selecki out. He's a little slick guy. He gave Jacobs some fits here and there.
Yeah.
But I expect Andrade to pull ahead, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, Triple G, this fight, definitely, I think he should stay in the pocket more. He can definitely practice some things here where he can stay in the pocket, not really step back, but work some defense. But I definitely see this being a knockout for a Triple G, man, and doing what he does. It's a comeback fight. He deserves it, man. He had 2 big fights with Canelo.
Yeah.
He's, like you said, he's getting older. He needs to get back. He needs to get back on that winning column to get that confidence back and hopefully set up that third Canelo Triple G.
Yeah.
So it's a good business move for him, and he's making money, bro. So all power to him, man.
Yeah, you know, and generally, guys, you boxing fans know, when a fighter suffers his first loss, they give him an easy fight back. Let's call it what it is. Okay, so this is no different than that. They're getting Triple G back on track. Suffered his first loss last time, but you know, Andrade or Canelo should be in his future after this fight.
Yeah, but the funny thing for me is that I feel like a lot of Triple G fans were giving Canelo some heat for taking Fielding, but I feel like in social media as well, social media as well. And I don't feel like I see that with Triple G taking on this guy from Canada.
Well, because he's coming off a loss, as I just mentioned. You know? And Canelo beat Triple G, right?
But according to you, he didn't, right?
No, he didn't win. Okay.
So Triple G did win. So
Well,
so
I just explained it. I mean, Triple G coming off a loss, he's getting the easy fighter. You know, Canelo went up to 168, and he chose the weakest possible opponent at 168. True or false?
Yeah.
Right?
Now, but I mean, he was sort of a champion, right?
Sort of a champion.
Yeah.
So should the face of boxing be facing sort of a champion? Or should he be facing the
Cotto
full champion?
Cotto did it. Mayweather did it.
But Cotto was never the face of boxing. You know.
Mayweather.
Who did he fight?
Berto? Does he get to fight Berto?
I wasn't a fan of that fight either.
Yeah.
You know.
But I mean, people do it, man. It happens. It's the business of boxing, right? And look, he's fighting Jacobs now, right? A fight that we all wanted to see. So I mean, fights like these happen. But what I don't get, I totally get it. I'm not nothing against Triple G doing this. But what I don't get is those guys that were criticizing Canelo for taking the Fielding fight should be the same way.
Well, you brought it up. So let's talk about who Canelo fought when Mayweather beat him. Alfredo Angulo.
Yeah, at 22, 23, right? 20 years old. How old was he when he fought?
You know, if you're a professional fighter,
Triple G?
You know, I remember Mike Tyson winning the heavyweight title at 19 years old.
Yeah, but what competition?
Nobody was saying he's too young for this or that.
I mean,
all right. Well, Canelo fought Alfredo Angulo when he lost to. Right? Where were the people talking about that?
Yeah, it was an exciting fight.
Miguel Cotto.
Angulo was a big name.
Miguel Cotto, when Tony Margarito beat him, came back against Michael Jennings. Who's Michael Jennings?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
This is what they do. This is the formula, guys. When you lose a fight, your first fight, you don't come back and fight a world beater like Andrade or somebody. You get built back up. This is what you do.
I mean, I don't agree with that, man. I mean, it is.
Well, it is what it is.
It is
it's
what
facts.
it is. Exactly. It is what it is. But I mean, Canelo's been fighting everybody, man. He deserved a easy fight like Fielding. It was a good marketing move. The same thing that they're doing with Triple G. Just like you said, he won. It was a close fight, man. But like I said, those people that are criticizing him, I feel like this should be the same way with Triple G. But I mean, like I said, I'm not criticizing him. I understand it. I mean, it is what it is, right? Like, it's boxing. He needs to get back on that win column, that confidence back, because he didn't do it with Canelo. So, I mean, I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah. When you're the number one guy, you get no more gimmies. No more gimmies. You're the representative of the whole sport in general. So people are expecting you to deliver big fight after big fight after big fight. Okay. You mentioned Mayweather. We're not trying to go back to that era, man. Nobody enjoyed that era. That was, not a very exciting era for boxing.
But I mean,
you could say that it set
it
people
is what
back.
it is, man. And he made the most money out of any athlete, probably, bro. So I mean, why not this young dude from Mexico come in, use kind of that blueprint of Mayweather, and look at, man, he's fighting Jacobs, bro.
But nobody wants to see the blueprint of Mayweather. That's the point. We want to see a knockout artist.
And did he knock out that so-called whoever it was?
Ooh.
Fielding. Canelo. Didn't he knock out Fielding?
In 3 rounds, but
exactly. So
as I mentioned last week, who's the last elite fighter that Canelo knocked out?
That's
exactly,
a really question,
exactly, guys.
But bro,
where's that cricket from our studio?
No way. No way. But I mean, dude, he definitely beat Triple G. We can go into an hour into that episode.
Oh, we're gonna get to that one. Trust me.
Yeah, man. But yeah, we'll see what Triple G can do with this guy. I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, I hope he can show a little bit more defense, a little more head movement, staying in the pocket, and we'll see what he does.
It shouldn't be a problem against Steve Rolls. It shouldn't. Really, he's probably gonna win in 2-3 rounds. It's gonna be like a Vanis Smart Erosion type fight.
Yeah, it should be. It should be. So I mean, yeah, man. Other than that, I mean.
That's it, guys.
That's it, guys. So, hey, thank you guys for tuning on in. Make sure you guys tune in next week to next week's episode. We're going to be having a special guest on the show.
We're not going to say who.
We're not going to say who the special guest is, so you guys got to make sure to tune in to next week's episode. Thank you guys again for watching. We'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, guys.